Welcome everyone to the first Reclaiming Grief Circle. I'm Danielle and I will be hosting these spaces for us all so that we can go on an exploration into our grief journey, because we're all in this space today because somebody that we love has died by suicide. This is not something that I usually hold circles for. I usually am working primarily with women in women's circles, talking about women's health and reclaiming our body and our mind. This is something that is very dear to me because those of you that know me know that we lost Jake on March the 9th, 2023, this year. And it's still very raw, yet it has taken me to places that I've never been before within myself. So together, I thought that it would be comforting and nourishing to explore some things together. So let's take a moment to just notice where we are in this space. A lot of the time when we get moved by big emotions, when things come up that feel uncomfortable, we can lose ourselves in the present moment. For some, it may feel like a spiraling or an emptiness. There's so many ways that this can feel, where you just don't feel that you're fully whole, where things don't make sense. So when this happens, you can just begin to, first of all, notice where you are in time and space. The practices that we're going to go through today, I wouldn't expect that they are going to be easy for everyone, because the mind is very powerful and it can take us in loops, which then affects our body. So we go through the cycle of body and mind, waking up and taking us out of the moment, when actually the biggest gift we can give ourselves and our loved one is to be present, to feel everything, because that is what is true in this moment. Now, if I say anything that is triggering, that I haven't worded quite right, then please let me know. I am navigating my own language around this, and my only intention is to create a space that is nourishing for everyone. So we're noticing where we are in this space. Take a look around your room, the room that is holding you. And as you do that, let your body just soften. Make a conscious effort to soften the body, almost like it's turning into a jelly-like substance. The muscles and the tendons start to rest on the bones. And you're looking around to the corners of your room, to the ground behind you, noticing any pictures, any windows, any doors. Noticing areas where you're thinking, oh, I wish I cleaned that up, or I don't like the look of that. Just notice the thoughts. This is part of the practice. And come in to look at your own body, looking down at your own body. Where is your body resting right now? Are you sat? Are you laying down? Are you walking and you have earphones in? Just notice, what is your body doing in time and space? And now come to notice your breath. Just to check in, how is your breath moving today? We're not going to try and change it. I'm not going to ask you to take deep breaths right now. Just simply to notice, how is your breath moving? Where does the inhale breath reach to? Can you feel the areas of your body that are expanding when you inhale? And can you notice a softening when you exhale? And notice with each breath how you can actually guide it without any expectations of it doing anything, just to notice that you actually can guide your breath into places. So if I said to you, guide your breath into your belly, you would take a little bit of a deeper breath and your belly would start to expand. And when you exhale, your belly is starting to soften and drop towards your lower back. Take it to another place that you can feel inside of your body. Maybe there's an area in your body where you have an injury, you have an illness. With a softness, guide your breath there, just to guide it. No expectations. And then notice the exhale, how you can soften a little bit more. And bring into mind your loved one or loved ones. And maybe people come to mind who haven't actually died by suicide. They've just come to be with you right now. That is beautiful. And just hold that essence. This may come through as a memory. This may come through as even a voice in your head. It may come through as a sensation in your body. It may come through as tears, as laughter, as a loud thought. It gets louder and louder. It may be blissful. It may be painful. Just hold it for a moment. Just for the next minute, we're just going to hold that because we can, because we're strong enough to be with that. Tears are strength. Laughter is strength. Anger is strength. All these emotions, you can hold it all. And what does it mean to hold? Simply observe. It might help to say, I'm feeling the tears run down my face, or I'm experiencing a tightness in my chest, or I can hear a thought that says, this practice is creating just a little bit of separation from what you're experiencing in your physical body so that you become the observer. Nothing needs to change. Everything is welcome. You get a little bit of space then. You don't have to get carried along with the thought, the anger, whatever comes through. You can just observe and hold space for it and love it. Like, who knows what's coming through right now might be the first day that you found out. There's always that first day that lives inside of you. There's always that moment. Every moment we've experienced lives inside of us. We don't know which one's coming through, but we can hold space for it. We can hold it. We can love it deeply. And just say out loud if you can, or in your mind. Say, I love you to this person and add their name. I love you, Jake. Now, notice in your breath again. Notice in your body. If things become too intense, you might find it more nourishing to take deeper, powerful breaths. It almost clears out a channel inside of you. You might find it more nourishing to do soft breaths. You may find it more gentle and anchoring to be doing something with your hands. But choose. You choose what to do. This is the part of creating space. You get to decide. Even if, for instance, you're on your own and you really want to get out of this feeling that's coming up, you take your phone and you scroll, and you put on the TV. Become aware of what you're doing. I'm using my phone to distract from this sensation because it's too much for me right now. And then what might happen next time is you do the same thing, but then another voice comes through and says, you are strong enough to hold this right now. And why would you want to do that is the question. When an emotion comes up, it wants to move through us, and it does move through. That's why we have waves of grief. This is maybe something you've heard, the waves, they come and they go, the dance of grief. These are emotions that we're exploring, this movement of energy that comes up. It comes up and it might create an action from us. Fine. Well, what if them actions aren't nourishing for us and our family? So we breathe and we observe the sensation. Instead of distracting, the wave will fall. Your body will start to trust you. These emotions are just your body communicating with you, saying, hey, do you feel me? I'm hurting right now. Or hey, I've got a memory for you to share. Or hey, I like to work on this part to process. So it is the journey. And I'm not saying every time to force yourself to be with that pain, just to know that there is options. And now grief, we're going to go deeper into this every time we meet up, but grief is now here to walk with us, everyone in this space, and it will look and feel and sound different for every single person, because we all have different ideas about what grief is. We've all perceived this loss in different ways. We all have different beliefs about what happens after death. So it's not to say one is right and one is wrong. It's just knowing that we're all in different, we're all going through different experiences. But we can see grief as almost its own entity, like a energy coming to hold us. So it feels very much inside of us because it's our experience. But if you just take that a little bit further, like a bubble around your body, you can come to see that grief is actually walking with you. It's coming to hold you and support you. And sometimes it squeezes you so tight because it wants to hold you and it feels so hard to breathe. Sometimes it can wrap us up so profoundly that the outside world seems to disappear. Nothing else matters. And grief shows us the intimacy of life and death. Without one, we don't get the other. And as I'm speaking, if anything comes through, please write it down. Get to know your own grief. It's unique grief to you that's holding you. And grief knows of love. It knows of this deep expansion. That's why there is the pain, because we love so deeply. There is this deep connection. Grief brings us back to our physical body. It really pulls us in. And sometimes that can be painful. Sometimes it can be ecstatic. Sometimes it can be so sweet and gentle. And so as grief is calling us in, it might be that we want to distract, like I mentioned before. Just notice in your distractions. And they might be distractions that seem acceptable by societal standards. You might have started exercising more, or I don't know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But look at all the things that are filling the void. So it's not that, again, nothing is wrong. It's just looking at the intention behind. Why am I doing this? Is it I am distraction from the pain? And in some ways, yes, it might be just what you need to get a breather. And in other moments, it might be like, I can stay with this. I can feel this. I just jumped back in because I had to pause because my daughter. So yeah, this coming back to the body is a big one, because that's where everything resides. So be gentle with yourself and just see if you do need a moment out of what is happening. Make a list of things that you could do that actually nourish you. So grief becomes this wise friend who reminds us in each moment that we're strong enough to be with these sensations, these thoughts, these memories, these emotions that come up out of nowhere. We learn as we journey through grief. It becomes our guide and our teacher if we allow it. And it offers then this bridge to our loved ones. When grief, the waves of grief become strong, they're with us because something has been triggered. What I say to my brother is, hey, I love you. Thank you for joining me. Sometimes I might continue to say, how dare you? I'm so angry with you. I'm in so much pain right now. Make this go away. But I first start with, hey, I love you. And this is our gift. This is our gift back to wholeness, of calling in all parts of ourselves that feel painful to be with, feel uncomfortable, feel totally alien to us. We get to welcome them back in so that we become more whole. Even though our loved one has died and a part of us feels like it's died as well. That part of us that's died is a part of us. We call it back. We reclaim our wholeness. We step forward for this full human experience, the love, the pain, the life, and the death. So I'm so sorry that you're here. I am so sorry that your loved one died. I am so, so sorry. And you're here. We're here. I see you. Now, write down anything that you can pause this video when you want. Write down what comes up with this, any new insights. I was saying to a friend the other day, it's like grief have turned me into an artist and a poet, because what I'm experiencing, it's really hard to find words for. Sometimes it comes through in movement, when I dance, the energy passes through when I sing, the sounds I make when I cry, the words I write. All of that is an expression. So let's just move this down a bit of a different path of exploration. I don't know how your loved one died. Please share with me if you feel comfortable doing that. If you want to talk, if you want to connect. But let's look at now modern society, the society that we live in. For most of us, death, grief, isn't held particularly well. And even life, for that matter. If anyone's watched The Business of Being Born, you'll see that the system entangles itself in our birth unnecessarily, taking away our experience, taking away potential pain. But this pain is what strengthens us. And I'm talking about birth there. But with death, I don't know your experience, and I wish I would. I wish I could speak to you right now and find out. But in many cultures around the world, death and grief are respected very deeply. So along with mourning the death of our loved ones, mourning the death of our future that we thought existed with them, we can also find ourselves mourning the loss of our tribe or a community that haven't showed up for us in the way that we needed. This is a rite of passage for us, and a rite of passage is just going from the known to the unknown. And in a rite of passage, we have a community or a tribe supporting us over that bridge into the unknown, saying, I see you, I love you, and I will support you. And with any loss, with any grief, the nervous system is shook. And in these moments, we're supposed to be held. We're supposed to be nourished. We're supposed to be encouraged to rest, to share, to be witnessed. And that might not have happened for many of us in the way that we didn't even know that we needed. And at the same time, I also know a lot of people who are watching this have incredible support from individuals, and sending out so much love for them, because holding space for this is also tough. So this deep conditioned belief around life, death, and grief is deeply conditioned within us, deeper than we'd ever be able to unravel in this moment. So when you have time, just reflect on your experience of life, death, and grief from being a child, because being a child is where it really gets the most ingrained in us. How did your family or friends hold these moments in time? Because now we get a chance to reclaim it. And this is why it's called reclaiming grief, because no one can tell you how to grieve. These steps of grief, you've seen them. Maybe you've read the book. Maybe you don't know about them. But these stages that are expected by society for us to pass through, then don't come in a linear sense. They dance around, and they come in many different types of expressions. And the time frame on how long you should be grieving for is all to fit into the system. So all I would say is to notice if you're going down a spiral that is harmful to you, if that stands out. And how would you notice that? Because that is a fear of many, is that if I'm not following these steps, if I'm not in this time frame, I might end up killing myself as well. Or I might drop into a depression that I can't get out of. So hear that as a fear, because you have a gift there, you have a gem. Okay, I have a fear that I'm going to kill myself, or I'm going to slip into a deep, dark depression and never get out. Listen to that fear. All you have to do is slow down, say, please share with me. Tell me more about this fear. And listen. Listen. Where does that come from? Whose voice is that? Why do you believe that? And then this is where it comes in with the strength, is to take a step up into your highest seat of your being and love that fear and speak to her or him and say, I trust your journey. I love you. And with that softness, then this really deep relationship can happen with yourself. You build this trust. And yes, you may go to them really dark places, but you'll come up for air. And in the moments when you come up for air, celebrate. I came up for air. And you'll remember this over time as you go along. I did go into a really dark place, but I came out. And you can write this. Journaling is amazing because you get to see that you do dance around these emotions. And yeah, in them dark places, you might feel like you're never going to get out, ever. And it's the worst one you've been in yet. But then you come up for air and you remember. So even though I know many people say this gets easier, I really feel that we become better at holding space for ourselves and trusting that the moments do pass. So there's so much I want to talk about. So I've made sure I have some notes so I don't go off on one. All right, so let's talk about our roles that have shifted. I mentioned the rite of passage from the known to the unknown. And on the other side, we have this new role. We have this new responsibility. We have this new identity. So your mother, father, sister, grandparent, friend, auntie, uncle, cousin, whatever it is, to someone who has died. And now you're still that, but to someone who is no longer in the physical body. I mean, you're still a mom, a dad, a brother, all of that. But on the other side, you're this to someone that has died, that has left their physical body. And as we just explored, this isn't something that's fully understood or appreciated in our society. There can be a lot of discomfort that comes up. So before, not to go too much into other people, just to hold this expression with you, is that other people's emotions and opinions and behavior and thoughts is none of your business. That is theirs to deal with. That being said, that might not help you in these moments because you are, every part of you is asking to be held and to be seen. Even if you want to shut the door and close the door and just hide away, to still feel that you're deeply loved and witnessed in these moments is what will soothe the nervous system. So unfortunately, for many people, let's say, unfortunately, we'll have people in our life that haven't showed up in the way that we hope that they would. I send love to them. I send love and I hope that they will wake up, that their heart will expand big enough to go beyond these conditions, beliefs, and this discomfort, and this not knowing, and this inability to fix something. It's okay. I would just say, you don't have to fix me, just witness me, just love me. Can we sit in this together? Can we sit in this grief together? That is the biggest gift. So here we are together, exploring this. And I'm not really sure where to go with it, to be honest. If I open a group up, I'm going to see what the response is. So if we open a space up to share whatever comes through in the groups. Right now I'm recording this because my Zoom didn't work, so I'm going to be figuring out whether it's better for recordings or for lives. So we'll see. Well, let us just tune into this idea of being witnessed without the need to be fixed. Because when we tune into that, we can also hold that knowing for ourselves. When an emotion comes up, when a thought comes up, I can see you, I can witness you, and I don't need to change you. And there's a fear there because we've been conditioned to believe that we have to fix something or we have to change something that's there. Well, just experience for yourself that it will pass and what's on the other side of that. Keep doing that and you'll build the trust with not intervening, just loving. And so there's a difference, right, of deeply loving something and saying, I love you, and holding it and just loving it so deeply, then I love you and please go away because you're making me uncomfortable. There's a difference. If you look at that within yourself and if you look at that in relationships, then you can see how if you treat yourself like that, would you ever treat your friend like that? Like consciously. I know we do it unconsciously sometimes. Can you imagine, like if I said to my mom, like, I love you, but please stop talking about this. Like, it's making me uncomfortable. Like, that breaks my heart to even think, like, but it happens consciously and unconsciously a lot of the time. So just becoming more aware of where this is coming from. And this is the role actually of, I don't know if anyone's heard the term of a death doula or a death midwife, man or woman, but someone who witnesses and holds space for death, just like a midwife or a doula would do for a woman giving birth. They don't intervene, they witness, they hold space, they trust the journey. They step in if there is risk of harm to the mother or the baby. This is the same for this. So what we're doing for one another now, as we're holding this space and exploring this together, it doesn't take a qualification to do this. It doesn't take any type of training. It just takes us moving deeper into our heart space. And for many of us, that's where most of the pain is held. So this wall has been built up to protect our heart right now. And letting anyone else in, or even beginning to explore life outside of our own grief, is tough. It's a journey of softening the space around the heart. And there is no set way. And it will be easier some days and tougher other days, but just take it slow. And the things that we're going to be sharing in these circles are going to help you to soften into your heart. So I see you, and I deeply trust your journey that you're on. I mentioned before that in some cultures there is this deep reverence and respect for death and grief. And in ancient Scandinavian cultures, it's a common practice for those who are dealing with grief of the death of someone to spend their time after the death for many months alongside the fire, so keeping the fire going. And this is all to do with giving them the space and time to process, but also being able to see this wood turn to ash over and over again, helping to process the journey of life and death. And they're only asked to come back to the community to take on their roles when they have been fully consumed by grief, when they have touched the depths of their being, when they have gone to the underworld. After that point, they come back. And also across many cultures, people who are holding grief are the ones that are classed as the wisest, because they go to this point in their existence where all of the crap starts to melt away. There's no space to have energy to deal with the mundane things of life. That's why things can change, things can shift, if we allow them. And that's, for me, I see that as so beautiful, because then we also get what we would say as our elders, our wise women and men. And yeah, how old am I? 34. I didn't think, I didn't want to be moving into that so soon. But I feel different from having this experience. So I'm curious how you feel. What comes up as I'm sharing about all of this? Wow. So I spoke a little bit before about the stages and the expected path. And I don't believe that grief can be medicalized, that it follows its own unique path based on what we need to unravel this. I don't think we'll ever fully heal from it. I think there will be, because our healing is saying that there's a scar and it's all gone away, but our loved one has died and they won't come back in this physical form. So it's, how do we care for that wound? How do we stop it from getting infected? And this being here today is one of those ways of putting a beautiful dressing on it, of taking the right plant medicine to make sure that it stays healthy. And I'm curious to what you think about that. What comes up as I've said that? And is there anything in this conversation that's triggered you in any way? Maybe you've noticed thoughts, maybe you've noticed your body uncomfortable, maybe you've wanted to turn me off and go and watch something on the TV. What was the thing that I said or that we brought up or explored that made that come through inside of your body? And now I'm not saying this because I want you have to stay with me. It's just to explore these parts of yourself. So where should we go next with this? So for some journaling questions, I'd love for you to explore what things in your life are not nourishing you right now, are depleting you, are taking you away from feeling. And what could you choose to nourish you? Just pick 5 things that you really feel that you enjoy. And maybe there's a part of you that doesn't want to enjoy anything. Maybe you feel like you don't deserve it. That's okay too. That's another part of yourself that you can love and you can explore. Well, why do you not feel that you can deserve it? Why do you feel that you can't feel peace and joy right now? Can you have 2 emotions playing along at the same time? Can you be deeply grieving and pain and so sad? And also experience peace, laughter, happiness. Can they exist at the same time? And it feels messy. I know. I'm here with you. We've taken a huge blow. This has been the biggest blow of my life. And there's parts of me in my own personality that have come up to protect myself from this pain. And sometimes it can come up as a closing down or running away, a distracting. I might become attached to something that feels like it takes me out of this experience. It might be something that actually nourishes me to protect me, like these joining with people in these spaces, the creations that I have in my work, the projects I do with my daughter. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's just, does this nourish me or does this not nourish me? It's really, I feel, is that it's just them, that question, does it nourish me or does it not? Because these are all ways that you know to soothe your nervous system. And we're going to find practices that we can use. We can find new practices. One might work for a little while and then it might not work. So constantly exploring what these things might be so that we can show up softer in each moment, more ready to hold everything that comes up. So thinking about your relationships at this time, as we spoke a lot about community, is there anything that has triggered you when it comes to how other people have held you, their words or their actions or inactions? And you can write this down. You feel comfortable, write their name, write what it is that has triggered you, that has made you feel something that layers to the pain of what you're experiencing, and just see what comes up. How did that make you feel? You might find at the end of it, some things show up that you didn't expect. I did this practice before, and one of the words was, I feel alone. And this was as I was exploring a relationship with someone in my life who I felt had disappeared. And that made me feel alone. Alone from that relationship. Not in general, because I do have support, but this feeling of loneliness and abandonment, which then, again, to go deeper, triggers wounds in my own inner child. So this experience is not in isolation of the death of the person. It awakens every part of us, even the part of us that existed before they existed. So this is why it's a journey, and I feel that this coming together could be very helpful for us all. So may grief hold you gently. May you find space to come up for air. May you have strength to ride each wave. May you remember the really painful moments, that they will pass. And even if it's just for a moment, may you remember you are not alone on this journey. May you have moments of deep peace. So we'll say this again. Well, I'll say it again. And this time, just feel into the people that are in this space. Feel into the people that are going through this type of loss, this type of grief, death by suicide, which is rising. So we have more people in the club, unfortunately. So feel into that, expand your awareness and your heart out. May grief hold you gently. May you find space to come up for air. May you have strength to ride each wave. May you remember that the really painful moments will pass, even if it's just for a moment. May you remember you are not alone. May you have moments of peace. Thank you. Okay. Now to the nervous system practice. So come to find a comfortable position. You might want to lay down. You might want to sit up. If you think you're gonna fall asleep, then maybe stay seated. All right. When you're ready, let your eyes close down. And start to become aware of the space at the back of the head. So if you're laying down, you're going to have to feel into the space, which is inside of your sofa or inside of your bed, wherever you're laying. So you're just becoming aware of the back of your head, firstly. And then going a little bit further away. So about a hand's width away from the back of your head. And imagine a ball of light there. What color is this light? Is it bright or is it dull? How big is this ball of light? Resting around a hand width away from the back of your head. If you can't visualize, just feel in. Just the intention is enough. Now see this ball of light move lower till it's in line with your heart. This ball of light is behind the back of your heart, away from your body. Feel this sensation radiating from this ball of light as the warmth vibrates from this ball of light, touching your body. Let the ball of light move closer towards you until it penetrates your physical body and comes to rest in the heart space. Say to yourself, I am choosing to feel this sensation in my heart. I am doing this to strengthen my focus so my mind can rest. This practice will bring me back to the present moment, even if in this present moment there is pain or discomfort, physically, emotionally, or mentally. I will be with it because this is what is real. Now feel that light, that ball of light in your heart. Notice where it radiates to. Which sensation is calling out the most in your body? And it might be not in the heart space right now, but let that ball rest. Find the part of your body where you can feel a sensation that is more alive than anywhere else. And you're just feeling, you're not needing to label it with words. And say in your mind, What is there to be felt right now? Once you've found it, ask, how are you? I'm listening. You're safe with me. Let me sit with you. I love you. Now bring your loved one to your heart and say over and over again, I love you. I love you. And you can say their name. I love you. I love you. I love you. Keep repeating that. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And now listen. Let go of the words. Observe your body. What is arising? All sensations, all thoughts are welcome. Even if you don't fully agree, just say, you can sit with me. The only real truth is love. Now start to squeeze your hands, your fingers, squeeze them together as you inhale and exhale. Relax and soften and open the palms. Inhale, squeeze and make fists. Exhale, release and open. Squeeze. Exhale, open. Inhale, squeeze as hard as you can. Squeeze, let it go through your whole body. Exhale, release and open. Coming back to your breath. Coming back to this moment in time. Starting to notice your body. This practice, I welcome you to try every day. It only takes 5 minutes. And it's all about becoming familiar with what is real inside of your body, whether you agree with it or not. It's about getting present so that you can feel and you can strengthen your focus so that you can continue to direct your awareness to your heart. The mind can play tricks. And it's not that this mind is bad, it's only trying to do its job of processing and keeping you safe. But the heart knows. And the heart is where this truth and love resides. It's beyond all the loops and the stories of whether this is real, this is not real. It's what you're experiencing right now. So, thank you for experiencing that with me, letting me to share that with you. Thank you for your trust. And so we'll come to close. Before we do, let us just hold again the people going through this, including ourselves. If you can imagine a big dome filled with people. You don't have to know them. You might recognize some people. But these people are all people that have lost someone that they love. They're grieving too. They're in this dome. As you step inside, feel yourself among people that understand, that feel this pain. And send out love and appreciation for each person's journey inside this space. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you so, so much for being here. Thank you so much. Now the wildest things just happened. But I'm not actually going to share it. Should I share it? Okay, I'm doing the recording and a thumbs up just came up on my screen. There's no one else in the space. I don't know if you're in Zoom, but you can thumbs up to people. So, yeah, that's wild. Oh, I got goosebumps. Right. So next week we're gonna do, maybe you'll be able to see that actually on the recording. So next week, or next month, sorry, we're gonna do a soul retrieval. And this is a practice that I've learned. When something really intense happens to us, a part of us leaves our body because it becomes too much. So we'll do that next week. If you have any resources, please share with me. I'll leave you with this poem from a book, From the Wild Edge of Sorrow, that I love. We are bewildered, shocked, and angry. We feel betrayed, abandoned. Every wild and unsettled emotion courses through our bodies as we try to make sense of the senseless. It is traumatic, ripping through our hearts like shrapnel. We are left dazed. His book is incredible. I really recommend it. I will share it along with this link. For now, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna ring my mom and tell her what just happened on the recording. Freak me out. I wonder if anyone can see it. All right, I'm gonna go. Love you so much, and bye.